Okay. Great. So, because there are people on the call today that don't know what theta healing is and have never heard of me or theta, maybe a little bit, maybe peripherally, I was kind of tuning into what today was going to be about. And, for each group of people, there's sort of a specific intentionality that comes up. And then there's also sort of an intention that I think runs through everything that I offer and that probably most light workers offer. And the thing that kept coming up about this group of people was the purposefulness and the ways that theta is so effective at letting one find one's center. I think particularly, I don't know if you guys found this, but this week was rough. I had a big old cry session yesterday, and on these platforms it's always sort of a little bit up in the air as to what specifically to address in terms of world events and what's going on, and where to just stay focused on why we came together. And luckily the practice of theta is also about intentionality and influence and empowerment, which I think links into some of the things that have been going on this week. So yeah, the theme that kept coming up was really around the 3 clarifying steps that happen over and over and over again with every client and every person I meet, including myself, that allows one to get connected to your core wisdom and sensibility in the world. And, when I think about finding the center, I think a lot of people, myself included, sometimes believe that that means to get clear on what to do, right? To get clear on what to think or what to believe or how to proceed forward. But like a lot of things in energy work, oftentimes it's much more subtle than that. It's in the subtle bodies. And specifically what was coming up around learning to find our centers today was this idea that when we're connected to the center, it's not even necessarily that we have more information, but that we're more in contact with what right action is for ourselves in our life, and how to allow the impulses and words and offerings and opportunities and ideas to flow forth that most contribute to harmony, and bringing harmony to the people in our house, to the people in our circles, and hopefully to the world at large. And so with that being said, we're kind of going to, and excuse me, I'm a little tiny bit nervous. I'm doing pretty good, but this happened the first time I did it with the students, and then I'll stop in a minute because, but the idea around our group session today is I'm going to really sort of keep it loose and spontaneous to feel the collective consciousness of the people that are on the call and how deep and far people want to go. Because for those of you that have been meditating for a long time, for those of you that really don't have a meditation practice, you could sort of think about your consciousness and your ability to focus like a rubber band. And some rubber bands are extremely pliable and can really stretch and stretch and stretch. And some rubber bands, if you push them just beyond where they want to go, the snapback is really intense. And one of the ways that I like to hold space as a practitioner, as a teacher, is this idea that there's a sweet spot where we want to push ourselves beyond maybe even where we've been totally comfortable and acclimated to our habits and our ways of thinking and operating in the world, but not so far that we need to recover from the healing work that we're doing. From my perspective, healing work, energy work, meditation, even if it requires a certain amount of discomfort or going through some darkness, it shouldn't cause more drama and damage if possible. Otherwise, you're probably doing it too fast. So so where I kind of wanted to start was something that I said on the last call with all the students that was primarily about self-soothing and calming down, was that I got the download once in Theta that action should only really arise from clarity. And we could kind of all agree that when we take actions and we're not clear on what we're doing or why we're doing it, unless we're in a really deep flow state, that oftentimes we end up causing some reverb that then has to get cleaned up. So this idea that clarity before action, and before clarity, peace. I don't know about you, but usually when I'm thinking really hard on something, the answer just slips right outside my fingers all the time. And it's often when I'm distracted doing something else, and I have softened and have been breathing and have been in my body and have found some sorts of sovereignty and peace from the subjects of my life, that clarity has space to arise. So let's just see. I think we're all okay. It looks like we're all here. Lovely. So once again for the, oh, it's Selena. I think that was you. Nope, that's okay. I like that you whispered. We could still all hear you. So, so for those of you that hopped on late and haven't met me, I'm Alexis, and we've kind of just been riffing about how we want to start. And in all the workshops that I run, we start with an opening circle. I think that there's something really beautiful and important about creating some directionality to our focus together. We have a lot of different types of people on this call in a lot of different places with different levels of relationship to energy work, to God, to consciousness, to their own bodies. And so the opening prayer, the opening circle can serve as a way of us kind of finding that collective element as to why are we all here together right now. This is a collection of consciousness that was drawn together for whatever reason through the forces, through space and time, to spend this hour together. And so rather than the variables of our days, our ages, our socioeconomic statuses, what we have and haven't been doing earlier, let's see if we can take a moment to calm down together, which will probably also help me calm down. And then we can find a way to proceed slowly. So in workshop, it might seem sort of silly for those of you that haven't come, but we always do opening circle by holding hands and putting our left palm up and our right palm down. And it's really just about the circuit of energy. Your left hand tends to be your receptive side, the left side, the feminine side, and the right hand tends to be your offering side, your generative side. And so by doing this, we form an unbroken connection. And if you are uncomfortable for any reason, you're certainly not required to, but it's just a way of participating. So everyone go ahead and close your eyes for a moment. And if you feel so inclined, just lay your left hand up and your right hand down. And together, let's just feel the common thread of desire. Everyone on the call today is somebody who believes in the power of peace, of slowing down, of the subtle layers of reality that are just beyond what our eyes and ears and nose can see and sense. Let's just feel the heart on the call. And together we can call in. You can use whatever name feels appropriate for you. I tend to say Mother, Father, God, creator of all that is. Kind of covers all the bases. Mother, Father, God, creator of all that is, thank you for bringing this particular collection of people together on this particular day. I know that sometimes as we witness and see such a broad spectrum of human behavior in such sharp relief that it can feel disheartening. And I just really ask to the powers that be, to our angels and guides, to the collective consciousness that helps, guides, and assists each of us individually and collectively, that whatever happens in the next hour, that it bring a form of relief. And not relief from checking out, and not relief from ignoring or denying or looking away, but relief from a willingness to surrender and to accept that we do not know the whys of the universe. We do not know the ways of the universe. And for the most part, it's really not up to us. I ask in the highest and best way that as the words flow through me today, they have the most amount of potential to relieve, to lift, to allow each of us individually to come home to self in a way that makes us more powerful and more purposeful in our individual lives, with our families and our friends. May we all learn to anchor and to surrender in as a way of standing tall and true, being the lighthouse to the best of our ability in what feels like fairly chaotic times. So it gets more important than ever. I ask in the highest and best way that each of the people on this call show up with presence and availability. And even if we haven't met, that I remember with every fiber of my being, there's really just the one of us, and it's all going to be okay. May all energies of nervousness or insecurity in my body, mind, and spirit be cleansed and cleared to make space for service and appreciation and contribution. May this be a beautiful hour spent, a worthy hour spent. Thank you so much. And so it is. And everyone can just sort of take a deep breath, relax your hands, open your eyes. Okay, lovely. So one of the concepts of theta healing and quite a bit of energy work acknowledges this idea that you have a field of energy around your body, and that net of energy has the potential to pick up on and catch what we might perceive as other people's energy. As I was preparing for the call, I was sort of present to the paradox of all one, and yet you're in my space, I'm in your space. I'm asking people to clear people out of each other's spaces. But the image that I got was fingers on a hand, and that the thumb can't really do the job of the pointer finger, and so on and so forth, nor do your fingers try, hopefully. And that this is actually less about getting rid of yucky, dense, fearful energy, and more about just clearing everybody out of the pool so that you have the cleanest, clear channel to get self-connected, to self-communicate in a way that aligns you with your own vision for how to be, who to be, what creates a beautiful life, how to live within your values powerfully in a time where it feels like there's a lessening of control in some way. And so we say we clear people out of our space, not to create disconnection or because they're bad and we need to be protected, which I really am not a huge fan of in terms of New Age language, but we clear people out of our own space as a way of honoring that we need room, especially when we're by ourselves, to simply be in our own field without so much data and conversation and news streams and video streams. It's extremely difficult to feel centered and peaceful when there's the sort of echoes of every piece of stimulation that you've had throughout your days or weeks or months. And so there's an aspect of theta healing by one which gets to clear their space. But because I haven't really leaned in yet to the idea of like teaching everyone the theta meditation and the command process, which maybe we'll get to sometime, there are also other ways to clear your space that I would love to guide everyone through. The other thing that was coming up as a relevant point of interest, and will everyone just take a nice deep breath? I know that sometimes I am a fast talker and people tend to start holding their breaths while they're listening to me, but it's not a good idea. I would actually rather you didn't listen to me and didn't self-asphyxiate. So let's just remember this is actually about getting settled down and into your own space. I'm going to record it. You can listen to it later if I talk too fast. So the second thing that came up to address is this idea of what is a meditation, right? And there are different voices across space and time, very clearly saying what they think a meditation is, and to each their own. I love when people try to meditate by getting completely and totally silent. And I also have noticed that if someone doesn't have a meditation practice, it's sort of like, you know, jumping into the deep end of the pool when you're like a little scared of water. And so theta is a way that we can meditate first by learning how to stay focused, which is just so unbelievably difficult for so many of us. And I don't really blame anybody. There's a lot of stimulus going on. So when I talk about meditation and when we start to do the space clearing, just think of it like I'm meditating by allowing all of my awareness, all of my consciousness, all of my attention to reside on one task, just one task at once, right? If you find your mind wandering or jumping around, our work is not to shame or push against, which just catches us in a sort of eddy of polarized argument and thinking, but to accept, align, to take a deep breath, and then to come back to what we're all doing together. I don't know if other people have been having this experience based on clients and some of the previous phone calls. I think that probably yes. But one of the hard things about this is the massive increase in screen time, right? And because screen time is addictive, it starts to self-perpetuate. So I know that for me, I started spending 80% more time on social media than I ever have in my life until I finally woke up a couple of weeks ago. And we want to notice that everything that we participate in and look at, it leaves a little imprint in our field. And when you're looking at something like social media, the dissonance of one piece of information to the next can be quite jarring towards our nervous systems. And so the 4 things that I wrote down in terms of clearing is first is people's energy that you actually know that are in your real-time physical experiences. Every time we emotionally engage with another human being, we sort of leave little breadcrumbs of our stuff in their space and their stuff in our space. The second is, any news information, collective consciousness, energy. So many people are riled right now. And I always want to tell everyone, it might be you and it might not be you. And the only way to find out is to clear our space. So we're just going to start there. We're going to take it nice and slow together. And the one thing I didn't say at the beginning that I forgot was in Theta, there's a practice by which you say to the person, is it okay if I come into your space? And out of context, I could see where that might sound weird, but really it just comes down to a type of availability for me as the mouthpiece of this call to be checking in and out of what your energy bodies are doing, and then to address verbally anything that might come up or any tensions that start to build to kind of stay ahead of the wave. And so with your permission, it might seem silly, but just if you don't mind saying out loud, yes, is it okay if I come into everyone's space?
Yes.
Okay. Great. Thanks, Joe. And I know everyone on the call. I mean, I know you in the sense that I wrote down your name and I spent a little time with everybody in the ether and the air yesterday. So give me just a minute to tune in the right way. And what I would ask you to do is, as an active preparation, to start to draw your attention and energy within, to find a place or a space to sit. I prefer people to sit up if you can, to allow your sit bones to find their most natural, supportive, helpful position underneath your body. If there is a way that you can do it without a chair, beautiful. If not, no problem. Listen to yourself. And let's together just sit for a moment, relaxing the breath. Pema Chodron says that to sit, spine straight, heart open, available for what wants to arise, is a great act of courage. So I commend all of us on our willingness And now what I would love for you to do, keep your eyes closed, is to imagine that you could either somatically or visually feel the last month or two, maybe it's just been the last week, of the people that you've been in the most amount of contact with. Maybe on the phone, but particularly in person. And just notice that as you see who shows up there, that you have a even subtle somatic response to their image and presence in your mind. And just notice for a minute what that is. Good. And now I would love for you to notice the feeling of Instagram, Facebook, of course, ironically, Zoom calls, clients, people that you've been in contact with. And as it starts to just layer on, just don't lose your breath and just notice, how does it make your body feel? Good. And then let's extend even further out and think about any news that you've been watching, any articles that you've been reading, any streams of information about the goings on of COVID, of the government, of police brutality, and just, I know it's a lot, but just don't lose your breath and just become aware of the stress laced throughout the energy body. And now what we can do is I can work on everyone at once, and you can guide and assist and visualize, which is so purposeful and so powerful. As I ask in the highest and best way, Mother, Father, God, Creator of all that is, I ask all waywards, anything not in their highest and best, anybody else's energy, any collective or group fear or anxiety or consciousness about the economy, about the powers that are, I just ask in the highest and best way that it be pulled and released and sent to the light and back to wherever it belongs. And I would love for you to participate by simply first starting with people. I love you and I let you go. I pull and release you, send you back to the light and wherever you belong. Taking deep breaths, just making space in your field. Even with love in your heart, say goodbye to your partners, your children, your pets. Let's imagine any imagery, content, posts from social media of any kind be pulled and released and sent to the light. Anything that's not in my highest and best be pulled, released, sent to the light, and back to wherever it belongs. Good. And just for the moment, again, not to deny or look away, but to have a moment of sovereign peace to get our heads on straight. Let's just ask any media source, any news source, whether written or visual, just for the moment, whatever is not in service to us in this moment in time, be pulled, released, and sent to the light and back to wherever it belongs. Good. And you can even imagine a sort of iridescent colored light just washing and cleansing your field, freeing up any loose ends, old conversations. Knowing that it gets easier if you don't hold your breath. Good. Relax the body, relax the butt and belly. Good. And then the second half of this, is about calling ourselves home, knowing that we get lost in future worry and fear. We get lost in past emotions and conversations. Imagine everyone you've been in contact with and how you have been offering or giving yourself away in any way, both great and small. We want to acknowledge that to receive one back to oneself is not to withdraw support from another human being, but to be humble enough to acknowledge that that human being is whole and complete in their own right. They have their own angels and guides. They are a child of spirit just as you are. It is a way of saying, I trust you, I love you, I'm here for you if you need me. So take a moment to just imagine every aspect of yourself that you've handed over conversationally or physically in the last handful of months. And imagine you could almost see it spread out, and perhaps even spread out along your timeline. How many of us are late night obsessing about what's to come? So you can follow along in your mind, and we're just going to say, Mother, Father, God, Creator of all that is, I ask in the highest and best way that all aspects of my being, all soul fragments belonging to me, any aspect of self that I have given or lost, get called home and cleansed and returned to me so I can feel myself whole and complete in my own space. You can imagine aspects of your being like homing pigeons or like similarly colored puzzle pieces flying throughout space and time, washing, cleansed, and returning to you until you feel the sphere of your energy field, the oval of your energy field fill out nice and plump with you, yourself, and you. I'm going to do the command for everyone. Once more, just asking in the highest and best way, Mother, Father, God, Creator of all that is, it's commanded that all aspects of every single person on this call, soul fragment lost in space and time, future and past considerations, or with another person, get called home, cleansed in your loving light, and brought back to them body, mind, and spirit so they might feel themselves whole and complete within their own selves. All right, good. And so from this space, I would love to do a little bit of group belief work before we open our eyes and continue on. So everyone just keep closing your eyes and relaxing into it. And let's take a moment to consider the powerful upset that comes along with the belief, I need to know in order to stay safe. I need to know in order to stay safe. And let's think about the ultimate havoc that wreaks on our nervous system, on our feeling of confidence in the world, on our overall feeling of well-being. And with your permission, we just want to gently and easy take the energy of, I need to know in order to stay safe, and ask that that belief be gently and effortlessly and easily replaced with, I have to stay present in order to stay safe. I have to stay connected to myself in order to stay safe. I have to listen to my own wisdom in order to stay safe. I need to take care of my body in order to stay safe. So let's just ask highest and best. I'm going to see if I can do it all at once. Mother, Father, God, Creator of all that is, it's commanded the belief, I need to know in order to stay safe. I need to know in order to survive. Unless it's about where you're getting your food and water, it's just simply not true. Let's just ask that it be pulled and released from all 4 levels in every area of the body, mind, and spirit and sent to the light. Let's ask that right back into that place. We remind the cells of the body, the personality of the body. We're infinitely safer when we are clear. We're infinitely clearer when we are calm. And we're infinitely more calm when we put a higher value on our right, our sovereign right, to slow down, to check in, to get quiet. Okay, good. Everyone just go ahead and come all the way sort of back into your own body, minds, and spirits. And as you're ready, you can open your eyes. Good. For those of you that haven't taken the class, you might have seen some people on the call doing it. Yeah. There's something in Theta Healing that I have found just unbelievably convenient and pragmatic and purposeful, which is learning how to energy break from other people. And so I'm going to show you guys how to do it if you haven't done it before. And it's both a sort of unconscious directionality where it kind of tells your unconscious what you're looking for. And it's also a literal way of breaking, particularly with the 3rd chakra, the power center, where we get caught in other people's stuff. So if you guys are down, if everyone wants to sit up, let's just take, and even students, just for the sake of the game, if you don't mind just taking your right hand and placing it palm out on your belly button. It's a little bit awkward at first, is left thumb down, just like that. And then put your left hand on top. And then as you rub your hands together, push your left hand out and say, what's theirs is theirs. And then turn your right hand over and say, what's mine is mine. Good. And then we're just going to go up and over the top of the head. Okay, lovely. We can do a little more if you want to, but that feels pretty good for now. So, yeah, does anybody have any questions? Now would be a great time if anybody wants to hop in with anything before we move on and do the Theta meditation. No? All right. So part of the work that I've been doing with the students, and the reason why I brought up the one around knowing, is because the way that our culture has informed us, according to the culture that we live in, to educate, to get information, to gain knowledge, to think clearly, and to have a good plan is the way to thrive and succeed. But given the circumstances of the last 2 months, all plans are sort of null and void. And they're just, the hits keep coming in terms of nobody knows really what's going to happen next. And, you know, you really can't even plan out a week or 2 at this point without some sort of potential otherness influencing and cutting you off from whatever your plan was. And even though it can be quite painful, I also think that there's this massive opportunity for people to start talking about where actual feelings of security come from. And from practicing on people for the last 10 or 15 years and having hours and hours of conversations with all kinds of people, I can tell you that feelings of well-being and security don't come from money unless you're under the poverty line. They don't come from feeling super beautiful and sexy. They don't come from being young. They don't even come from being healthy. And so You know, I'm a huge encourager of your desires matter and getting what you want matters. And there are ways to influence and create and draw from the creative force to craft a life that you love and a world that you love. And I also think that because of what's been going on, it's getting more important than ever that we learn to let go and to surrender and to admit our lack of control and to get curious and softer about what potentially all of this is and what this all could be. And softening doesn't mean rejecting the more negative emotions that are coming up, like anger. I know that that's been happening for a lot of people, at least people that I'm in contact with. It means softening around our positionality about what is happening and what we or other people should or shouldn't be doing about it. And softening enough to process those negative emotions that leaves our palate a little bit cleaner, right? And so with the Theta meditation, I figured really what I would really love to do is to use it as an opportunity to work with balancing out your guys' energy bodies. So we'll go through each of the chakra systems and I'll do a little bit of a download and maybe potentially even a little bit of a clear around the different areas of the body. We'll go all the way up. This is the Theta meditation. We'll go all the way up. For those of you that don't know, just really briefly, theta is a brainwave. It's the brainwave you're in when you're dreaming. It's the brainwave you're in when a hypnotherapist puts you, quote unquote, under. It's the brainwave that little babies are in most of the time. And essentially, the Theta meditation is about training one's brain how to hold a conscious theta brainwave so that you can soften your neural plasticity and be more available even for, in some ways, your own inundations of ideas. So hypnotherapists get people's brains into that position because they become more susceptible to suggestion. When you're in a theta brainwave and somebody says to you, "You're really beautiful," your mind will let that piece of information further into your core concept of self than if you are in one of the speedier brainwaves and someone says, "You're beautiful." We're so apt and quick to bounce it right out again. So in some ways, the Theta meditation allows one to soften one's own energy body, neural cortex, so that the words had there and the conversations had there and the visions had there soak in at a deeper level than if we were just having a conversation about it. Does anybody need a little break or need to get water or anything before we start? If you do, I would love for you to do it now, just so that when we start the Theta meditation, you're all set. Yeah, I saw a couple of hands go up. So let's just give everybody a couple of minutes. How did everyone do with the last bit?
Can I ask a question?
Yeah, for sure.
So I get that when you're saying you're in the theta state and if something nice, like you can let it in more, but what if you're in the theta state and someone says you're a piece of shit?
Yeah.
Like how's that?
Yeah, thank you. That's perfect. So there's really two things about that. The first is that to get into and maintain a theta brainwave, you have to be deeply and powerfully relaxed. So that much of a jolt or piece of negative information would automatically draw you into a more guarded state of mind, if that makes sense. Your mind would start to speed up. And secondly, in some of the mid-range brainwaves like alpha, our the entire system behind television and commercials is designed to get you into an alpha theta brainwave so that the messages of not enoughness and you need to buy things and be very afraid of everyone and can go right past the gate. And so to get into a really deep state of theta, you have to be pretty blissed out. So the likelihood that you would be receiving negative messages in that state is slim to none. Does that make sense? Yeah, good. Anybody else? I'm still waiting on a couple people to pop back on. Okay. Good. So one of the things that I had to consider about this call, I'm not sure for the couple of people that are brand new, how much you guys have deep dived into theta healing, but it's sort of a combination of meditation practice, a healing practice, and psychic channeling practice. And because on this platform, I can't and don't want to teach people how to get psychic and do readings, I was really trying to wrap my mind around what is the purpose of the theta practice, especially in this context. And I think a little bit of it is the two places we started, right? About the clearing your space, getting your energy back, is a huge thing to me, which we'll probably include just as we kind of move forward. But then the other piece was about how to find a way to let go of the noise enough and get self-connected enough that you can hear the call and response between you and your higher self, or you and God if you prefer, but to open the channel and open the highways and the byways of what that looks like. And so we'll kind of move slowly together. The meditation practice is about slowing down the brainwaves to such a degree. And oftentimes it can, the first couple of rounds is like it's a practice, right? And so if everybody wants to go ahead and get settled, looks like everybody's back from where they were. Good. And if it feels good to everyone, I also was ruminating on, has anybody ever read this book called The Field? No? There's this woman named Lynn Taggart, and she wrote a book on group consciousness, and basically how when enough people focus on something at the same time, it impacts physical reality. So a couple of the experiments that are in the book are like, there's like one where maybe 200 people focused on lowering crime rates in New York, and they had like a 30% crime rate drop. There was another one where they focused on raising the temperature somewhere. Anyways, it's kind of interesting. And I thought that given what this last week has looked like, something that's been up for me, and if you guys are open and willing to set your intention this way, besides the work we do together, is this idea of what would it look like to live in a world where all bodies are respected? And like to really actually just dream on it, if even just for a moment, right? Like what would it actually look like to have women's bodies be respected and men's bodies be respected and Black and brown bodies be respected, and to live in a world where people could see each other's humanity to such a degree that it would prevent them from disconnecting with themselves, which is really where evil arises, right? So if everybody wants to get nice and settled down and into your body, good. Let's just take a moment and if you can, sit up straight, beautiful. If you can't, it's okay. Go ahead and close your eyes. And imagine that you could see your point of consciousness like a beautiful glowing ball of light within your body. As you begin to identify your consciousness within your body, allow that beautiful sphere of light, that point of light, to begin to move down. Keeping the body relaxed and alert. Allow that consciousness to begin to move down past chest and belly, down past the bottoms of your feet or out through your sacrum. Let's imagine like liquid streams of light that we flow down into the earth, 100 feet, 200 feet. Just allowing your consciousness to effortlessly extend towards the very center of the earth, where a big, beautiful, nourishing ball of Mother Earth energy resides. And just like the plants and animals are dependent on this beautiful, strange consciousness called planet Earth, as are we. Allow your consciousness to tap or plug into the very center of the earth. Relax the butt, relax the body, and imagine yourself being able to begin to drink. Drinking deeply of that nourishment, that silence. Bringing that earth energy in your consciousness back up through the ground. Bringing that earth energy in your consciousness back up into the bottoms of the feet or sacrum. Traveling up your legs. And for just a moment, we're going to tend to and spend a little time with the root. Imagine a red glowing ball of light right on your perineum. And take a moment to notice if there's any tension there. Are you squeezing? Are you squeezing the butt? Are you squeezing the belly? Just relax and soften. And let's allow this beautiful ball of red light to begin to pulse and open. This is our space of receptivity, of feeling supported, of feeling satisfied and satiated and held. Allow your root chakra to open. Imagine that red spinning light going multi-directionally, softening and opening. And right into that space, I'm going to offer both the download and you can practice the thought. I am safe. And right into that space, let's remind ourselves, I am safe, not because things are guaranteed to go my way. I am safe because I am eternal. I am safe because I regenerate. Let's just ask that that part of your body be downloaded with. I know what it feels like to receive. I am worthy of receiving. I'm worthy of being held. I am a part of the all that is. Good. Just allowing your consciousness to gently travel up into the second chakra, orange. You can imagine that orange ball of light right beneath the belly button beginning to pulse and open down the left and up the right, spreading and opening. And let's just remind that part of our bodies, our creative, sexual, emotional center, that there are ideas yet to be had, creative potentials yet to be expressed. Let's ask that that part of our bodies be downloaded with, I know what it feels like to make peace with the emotions moving through me, to not fight them off or suppress them, to not make them bigger or worse, but to witness with loving kindness the emotional experience of being a human being. Good. Gently up into the third chakra, yellow. This is right in the solar plexus. This is our power center. And let's just take a moment to get connected to, where do you think power comes from? Where do you think real power comes from? For me, real power comes from living within my values, being humble enough to understand what is and is not within my control. And by doing the best that I can to be a unified being, a harmonizing being, an empowered being, right into that space, irregardless of what life looks like right now. Let's just remind the body, mind, and spirit what it feels like to know and to feel when you're connected to the all that is, that you are so powerful. like a beautiful golden ball of sun, just spinning and opening in the solar plexus. I am powerful. Good. Gently up into the heart chakra, green. Knowing that it's so difficult sometimes to keep our hearts open and available, and there's so much pain. And together, let's just acknowledge for a moment, I want an open heart. I want to be brave enough to have an open heart. Let's just ask that any tension in that space be unwound, allowing that beautiful green liquid light to pulse and open, reminding at the very center that you are loved, that you are loving, that love is the most powerful vibration in the universe. And an open-hearted person who's connected to their power is someone who can change the world on a dime. Gently up into the throat chakra, blue. Lately, I've been commenting on and talking about that the voice, we have an inner voice and we have an outer voice. And let's just take a moment to acknowledge, what have you been using your voice for over this last week or two? Who have you talked about and how have you talked about them? As we speak, we create a stage and a play and characters. What characters occupy that world? Who is receiving the liquid, golden nourishment of your voice? Let's just ask in the highest and best way that we remember that the voice is a blessing and a privilege, and what it feels like to use our voices well, to both advocate and stand up, and to also create and to dream. The world needs dreamers more than ever before. Let's just bless the throat chakra with, may I speak into reality a vision of a world where we are all safe, where we are all honored, where we are all held. May I use my voice for the good of the whole. Good. Gently up into the third eye. Recognizing that if you're a sensitive creature, and if you're on this call, you most likely are, it's been a lot to take to stay steady and stay sane and stay peaceful. Your third eye, if you're sensitive, means you're getting layers and layers of information. But let's remember right now that that third eye has the ability also to pierce the veil, to see beyond the beyond, to see into the heart of things, to see and feel the truth in a way that brings clear action to us and understanding to us and wisdom to us. May we all learn to use our third eyes, not to know, but to be wise. Knowledge without wisdom is a dangerous thing indeed. Asking that everyone's third eyes be opened only in the way that's in their highest and best, with enough clarity to spur action and enough protection to keep you sovereign, safe, and connected to yourself. Up into the crown chakra, beautiful, deep, beautiful purple color crown chakra. Imagine it beginning to spin and open, our connection with divinity to the all that is, allowing it to spin like a shutter or camera opening. And gently, easy, let's just from that space recognize that in our human bodies, with our human brains, we can't really understand what's going on. And let's practice right into the crown. I know everything I need to know and not even a smidge more. I know what I need to know, and when I need to know more, I'll know more. I know what I know, I don't know what I don't know. Right into the crown, let's just acknowledge, I don't know, but my higher self does. I don't know, but my angels and guides do. I don't know, but divinity does. It's okay for me to not know. I don't know. And gently and easy, let's allow and imagine that beautiful sphere of light to lift up above the top of the head. Gently above the head, we start to travel higher and higher out of the room that you're in and into the sky. Don't forget your breath and your body, going higher and higher, out through layers and layers of bright white lights. Imagine up ahead a big, beautiful, bright white light. And as your consciousness moves up through and into this beautiful, bright white light, imagine going through a sort of golden window, a golden tunnel. And right at the end, as you go higher and higher, as we pass through the end of the tunnel, we're just going to make connection with Creator, however you see fit. Mother, Father, God, Creator of all that is. I ask in the highest and best way that all unnecessary fear in my body, all unnecessary worries in my body, all unnecessary weight in my body be freed and released. May I be returned to a state of innocence. May I be returned to a state of hope. May I be returned to a state of curiosity about what's to be done and when it's to be done and how it's to be done. May I learn to stay in my own lane where all my power is. May I learn to let go more gracefully. If I have to let go, whether it's a relationship or a job or a financial status or house or my youth or a sharp mind, as we'll all eventually have to let go, may I learn to let go with grace and ease. Let's just ask that we all be downloaded with, it is safe for me to let go. Let's just download the nervous system and the body with, I know what it feels like to live without holding so tight, without holding on so tight. And let's even from this space imagine all the DNA in your body starting to unwind. Any tense areas of the body or sticky areas of the body, just imagine liquid light moving through, starting to unwind the nervous system, to unwind the DNA. Good. Good. Going all the way back up. May I learn to trust that as I soften and surrender, I will know what to do and when to do it. Not only will it not make me irresponsible or lazy or selfish, it will put me in contact with the heart of the world and have me rise to meet the challenges of my life with more love, with more affection, with more levity, with more clarity, with more purpose, and with more power. Let me learn to let go and let go with trust. Let my presence be an encouraging force for my brothers and my sisters to learn to treat each other well. May I learn to be kinder towards myself and those around me. From this space of we're running out of time, which creates so much immediacy and tension in the body, let's just ask, highest and best way, that all beliefs that say, the clock is ticking, we're running out of time, and something must be done right this second, let's just pull and release and remind all aspects of the body, mind, and spirit that the dance has always been subtler and more complex and more in the background, and that all of the work that needs to get done is getting done, and I just want to play my role and play it excellently. From this space, let's ask in the highest and best way that all feelings of being a failure whether it's because you've been causing fights or been irritable, whether it's because you got let go of your job or you didn't succeed at something you thought you should. Let's just ask that all damage around that thought that I am a failure or I might fail be pulled, released, and sent to the light and back to wherever it belongs. That is a patriarchal statement that you will fail. You cannot fail. You are glorious. You are whole. You are infinite. Let's ask from this space, Mother, Father, God, Creator of all that is, please teach me the highest truth of success. That success is being connected to myself. That success is choosing love over hate. That success is learning to get to know my creature, accept my creature, allow myself to be as I was meant to be. Good. From this space, let's just imagine asking, like manna from heaven, that every single one of us be downloaded with unconditional love and what it feels like for permission to feel peaceful, if even just for the moment. It is commanded that peace be downloaded through every single cell of every single one of our bodies, and just watch it flow from the infinite beyond, down through space and time, pouring through the top of the head, filling up your toes. Good, let's go all the way back up. And let's imagine what it feels like to really truly understand that people who are at peace with themselves do no harm. And that we can rage and we can be angry and we can push against, but only those beings who are at peace with themselves learn to do no harm to others. So let's turn our attention towards the collective consciousness, particularly anybody that's in a space of authority that is disconnected from their heart, and ask and pray that it be made available for them to find their humanity, to find peace within them, to see with clear eyes who they have and have not been. And like a good and kind and gentle mother, let's just ask that they wake up. Good, we're going to get complete with just saying a little prayer from that space. Let's just say together, may all beings find peace. May all beings find freedom. May all beings discover what their medicine is in this strange game of being a human being. And may I learn to find ways to connect and empower and create myself as a love offerer, a light offerer, a creative being, a dynamic being, a flexible being. May I learn to throw my body into battle as I keep my heart at the lotus feet of the Lord, and know that somewhere deep beyond that all is very well. Thank you. So it is said, it is done, it is done, it is done. Just gently allow your attention and energy to start to collect together, beginning to move gently back down through space and time, back down into the atmosphere and stratosphere of planet Earth, back down into whatever room you're in, and pause above your head, and just take a moment to acknowledge whether or not you've been shaming your body for what you've been eating, for exercising or not exercising. And to your body, before you come back in, let's just say, I'm sorry, I love you, please forgive me. I'm sorry, I love you, please forgive me. Moving your consciousness, just imagine getting rinsed off in an iridescent colored light, and then moving your consciousness down through the top of the crown, back down through chest and belly, dipping gently beneath the sacrum or your feet, connecting with that earth energy, and pulling your attention and energy back up into the body wherever it feels most natural. Soften the shoulders, soften the face, and as you're ready, you can take a deep breath and open your eyes. Lovely. So, good. I would love to know how that went for anybody, all of you, if anybody feels like sharing. We're at the end of the session. I'm going to open the floor for questions and a little bit of conversation. And then when we close, we usually do sort of a closing prayer, and oftentimes we sing a song, but we'll just kind of see how it goes since we're at 4:10 already. But if anybody has anything they'd like to put on the plate or any feedback they'd like to give, now would be the time to do it. And I really encourage you to. I know people get shy in this platform, but it helps me so much when people are willing to jump in there. Otherwise, you're just listening to me yap the whole time.
I'll jump in.
Okay, great. Who's talking?
Vanessa.
Oh, hi, Vanessa.
Hi. Thank you so much. That was the deepest meditation I've been able to drop into for a really long time.
You're welcome. It helps so much when there's a bunch of people doing it together.
Yeah, it felt very cohesive and very sturdy.
Yeah, lovely.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, sturdiness is the way right now. Anybody else? Yeah, Penelope?
Hi, I'm Penelope. I feel like there was a support that I haven't felt in my own meditation alone.
Yeah.
That even though it was different, I just kind of felt a little surrounded. So almost like we were holding one another up somehow.
Yeah. Yeah, so many other animals in nature flow together like that. Like if you think about schools of fish, or how birds fly, where there's the one in the front and then there's the ones being lifted by the wake. And unfortunately, our modern culture has sort of disallowed some of those experiences of kind of co-braining and the relief of co-braining, because it's fucking hard to do it all by yourself all the time. So I'm so glad. Thank you so much. It's nice to see you here.
You too.
You got it. Anybody else?
I'll jump in. This is Kristen. Hi.
Hi.
I had such a great meditation. I really felt that energetic pull and really clearing, and the reminders of the energy, energy break, and doing that, so important. I can do that throughout the day. I can do that on my own, and it's just, I'm really grateful for this. Thanks for providing this space.
Yeah, my pleasure. And thanks for bringing that up. For any of the newbies, did you guys catch the energy break? Does anybody want me to show you again, or you feel like you got it? Sorry, I can't read the little thing. I know people are commenting, but it's too distracting for me. Plus, I need glasses. Anybody else?
Once again.
Hi, this is Rachel.
Hi, Rachel.
This is Lola, but I just want to say thank you. I live in Phoenix, and I was at the George Floyd rally last night, and it got really intense. And so it's like just such a nice release of a lot of that energy. I was trying to stay peaceful, but it's a lot of energy.
Yeah, I totally get that. You know, I don't know if anybody caught it, but that quote at the end is from the Bhagavad Gita. It's Krishna says to throw your body into battle, but keep your heart at the lotus feet of the Lord. And I really like that, because it acknowledges the need sometimes to get in there, you know, and to push back and to say no. And it also acknowledges don't lose your sovereign heart and serenity and an understanding of a bigger game, right?
Yeah, I needed that reminder. Thank you.
My pleasure. Yeah. Was anybody else trying to talk? Yeah.
This has been really.
Oh, sorry. Stacy, go ahead, and then I couldn't catch who the second person was, but
Sorry.
ahead, Stacey. No, you're great.
This is my first time with this kind of a meditation, and it was very powerful. I cried the whole time. I don't know if that means I don't know what it means. I'm not gonna have to really judge it, but it was beautiful. And George Floyd is also on my mind, and I'm curious if there is anything that I can maybe read or about what we just did, the practice we just did, because I'd like to know more.
Yeah, lovely. Thank you
And
so
you
much.
are wonderful. You were really a wonderful guide. So I thank you from my heart.
My pleasure. Thank you. In terms of resources, there's the Theta Healing book that Vianna wrote. And if you email me and remind me, I also have so many meditations that I've been trying to upload on my website. And if you email me, it'll kind of remind me, and I can even send you a couple, or if anybody wants me to send you them, just email me and I'll send you a couple, because the Theta Healing meditation is in that book. And then there's the Theta Healing practice, and sort of like, yeah, you gotta just move in there at your own pace.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Yeah, you got it. Yeah. And who else was trying to say something?
Hi, Alexis. It's Lisanne. I just wanted to thank you so much. This is the fact that you've been doing this, over the last few weeks. It's been really helpful, really, really helpful. Thank you.
My total pleasure. Thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah. And just for context, I had a couple of conversations with Lisanne yesterday, and one of the things that she said in both conversations that really caught and felt resonant was, it's okay, we're grieving together, and it was just like this reminder of like, there's nothing to do. We just have to say, it's okay, we're grieving together. We're crying because we're grieving together, and there's no way around it but through it. And you just got to feel all the feels. And it is that straddled space of feeling all the feels. And then, I mean, holy moly, right? And then back to center, straighten up the spine, open up the heart, do it again. This is, planet Earth is not for the faint of heart. This is a really interesting, challenging game. Anybody else?
I was going to say something, Alexis.
Yeah, sure, Jill.
I was going to say, I'm not new to Theta, and I bawled my eyes out as well. So I've done Theta for a really long time, and I still feel really emotional, and like it was amazing to be connected to everybody. So I would also say that I've known Alexis for a really long time. We had a conversation, I think, a really long time ago when I moved to San Diego right after 9/11 happened, and Alexis and I had a conversation about how do you stop the war? It was such a visceral experience for me to be like, I just asked my mom, because she had lived through, a war before me. And I was like, wait, everybody's still going to work and going to the grocery store, and everything was so crazy. And I said, is this what we do? And she said, yeah. And so Alexis and I had this conversation, and I remember getting to the point where we said to I don't know, probably you said it, Alexis, first, but you said, like, we need to stop the war in our families. And that to me meant, like, stop the war in myself, and how do I make a difference in this place is to just come back to center. And if that means crying, like, that's just, we're made of 90% water. I think that means that the energy is moving through you, and it comes out here, you go pee, like, it's so I feel like it's a really positive thing.
Yeah.
And I just like the idea of everything that you touched on today. And it is all it's very important, and it is very pointed to just, just, this is what you're doing. This is what we're doing. We're stopping it here. We have to come from peace here first.
Yeah.
So I think that's it.
Thanks, Joanna. Yeah. And it's like, there are certain things that are true and will be true forever, and learning how to stop the war against your own body and against the people that raised you and against the people in your immediate vicinity is really the way forward. Yeah. Thank you. Anybody else before we start to wrap?
Hi, Alexis. It's Vicky.
Oh, hi.
Hi. I want to say thank you. And through this, the up and downs and trying to stay centered, trying to stay present, that meditation was beautiful as always, and also the reminder of safety. Safety is within me, connected to source, regardless of what's happening out here. And I feel grounded now and cohesive. I heard that word, and with everyone's energy. Thank you so much.
Oh, my total pleasure. Yeah. I think that in specifically Western Americans have been brainwashed to believe that safety is in having the right set of circumstances around us.
Right.
And it turns out not true. And essentially, we're either all safe or no one's safe, right? Yeah. Thanks,
Thank you.
Nikki. Yes, you got it. That's great. And I'll send out an email with a link to this call in a few days from now. Usually I do it on Monday. And then I'm really open-minded to feedback and suggestions. If people want to keep doing it, I can start maybe teaching little mini classes sometimes in the evening. I'm open-minded to what this looks like. This has all been sort of a big experiment for me. Yeah. So is there anybody else that wants to jump in there before we have a little closing circle?
I just want to say thanks. It was really great.
Thank you. That's my mom. You have to say that. Just kidding. Okay, good.
Me too. It was really, really great. Thank you.
My pleasure. Yeah. Does everyone feel good and ready to close? And I just really want to say I appreciate that there's different ways to be a rebel, right? And to push back. And to me, deciding on radical personal responsibility and unconditional love is two of the greatest ways to be a hardcore rebel. It's not super sexy. It doesn't require, cigarettes and looking cool, but it actually is the way to say fuck you in a way that's like super amazing and travels really well, is to say, I will not let you make me hard. I will not let you make me atrophied. I will not let you make me shut down. I refuse to get small. There's just something really beautiful at persisting. And so together we can persist, and I'm looking forward to more and more opportunities to do it because we need each other. And it's really lovely that we can do it this way, and everybody's all across the country and it doesn't even matter. It's great. Okay, that was it. Anything last before I close? Okay. And then I'm trying to think if the song feels appropriate. Usually I sing the Happy Cell song and it just does not seem like the thing. So let's do closing prayer, and then I'm going to think of if I can think of a different one, okay? Everybody just close your eyes one more time, hands out. Let's honor what we just did together. Left hand up and right hand down. You got it, Talia. You look at left hand. It's okay. It's cool. Left palm up and right palm down like this. Oh, not the energy break, hon. We're just doing closing circle. Yeah, there you go. You're perfect. I'll stop calling you out. Sorry. Okay.
Alexa, I don't have my eyeballs.
It's okay. You're doing great. Okay, everyone just go ahead and left palm up, right hand, down, eyes closed. I got you. And take a nice deep breath. And let's just say a little prayer of gratitude for the other beings on this call and for just the gathered evidence and the encouragement that there's so many of us that are loving and kind and interested in being helpful and want to be a contribution to the world at large and want to see people do better. There's so many of us. And let's just feel into that collective consciousness, saying gratitude and thanks to our brothers and our sisters for being on the call. Mother, Father, God, creator of all that is, to the winds and the water, the earth, sky, and trees, and to the beings seen and unseen that believe in the power of prayer, of love, of community over commerce, of process over perfection, and of a world that can be full of art and love and fun and creativity and playfulness. And bodies feeling safe, just bodies feeling safe to walk around and safe to do as they need to do. Let's send extra special, tender, loving prayers and bubbles of light and energy to those beings. I would imagine it's for Black men, but geez, being a woman, I mean, there's so much. Let's just imagine golden bubbles of light, protecting those that need it, protecting those that need it. May they shine consciousness so bright into the hearts and minds that those that want to perpetrate, that it breaks the chain. I ask in the highest and best way that each and every person on this call be downloaded with unconditional love, that a big, beautiful, crystalline bubble of energy be put around their bodies that calls forth from the universe that which is in their highest and best and repels that which isn't. May we all be peaceful, knowing that it's not on us to change the broader scope of thing. It's on us to connect, to collect, to focus together, and to essentially accept whichever finger of the hand you are. We just are what we are, what we are, what we are, and we're doing the very best we can with what we know. And when we know more, we'll do better. And so it is. Thank you so much. Good. Beautiful. If you remember, everyone can just sip yourselves up. Anybody have song suggestions that aren't too cheerful? Okay, just for those of you that haven't been on the call before, there's this song that goes, every little cell in your body is happy. Does everyone want to do that one, or does it feel disrespectful? Is that okay? Everybody down for that song?
Sure.
Okay, good. It's good just to keep it in your pocket. Everybody ready? So first, when you sing it the first round, we're going to say, every little cell in my body, right? And really bless up your bodies. Your bodies have been carrying a lot of stress for you the last couple of months. Your body needs some serious TLC. No more getting on your own case about shit. Who cares if you're eating more cookies? It does not matter. Okay. Okay, good. Who's unmuted? I just heard, oh, Stacey was. Okay, good. I'm going to mute you back. Okay. And so the first round we sing to us. Second round we sing to one another, our brothers and our sisters. And again, we just want to remember that in a big, beautiful world, there's space for all of it, for grief and for joy, for celebration and for mourning. It's all happening at the same time. There's somebody being born right now, and they deserve to come into the world with a little lift happening, right? There's somebody that for the very first time in their life is taking their first step right now. Sing to that person. This isn't a matter of denying that the world is a fucking shit show. It's a matter of saying among the shit show is also golden opportunities for human to human connection, and little bodies making first steps, and big bodies loving themselves, and on and on. Okay. Not known for being quiet, in case you guys haven't figured it out yet. All right, good. Everybody ready? First to yourself, then to the people on the call or the world at large. Every little cell in my body is happy. Every little cell in my body is well. Every little cell in my body is happy. Every little cell in my body is well. I can tell every little cell in my body is happy and well. I can tell every little cell in my body is happy and well. Now to one another. Every little cell in your bodies are happy. Every little cell in your bodies are well. Every little cell in your bodies are happy. Every little cell in your bodies are well. I can tell every little cell in your bodies are happy and well. Yeah, get it, Andrew. I can tell every little cell in your bodies are happy and well. There we go. Thank everybody so much. I really, really appreciate everybody's presence and kindness. And feel free to email me. And again, I'll be in touch next week with you. Oh, you're so welcome. My pleasure.
Thank you, Alexis.
My pleasure. Bye.
Thank you.
Have a good weekend. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Bye, Lisan.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Oh, my total pleasure. Bye. So great to see everybody. Bye.
Thank you. Love you. Bye.
Bye. Love you too.
Love you, Alexis. Thanks.
Aw, love you too. Bye. Really
Thanks,
beautiful.
Alexis.
Aw. Bye. Bye, Ann.
Bye.
Okay. Bye. I'm going to hop off. Bye, Talia. Bye, Lynn. Bye, Shanti.